Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, it has been a minute since my last video, and so I figured with finally having some nicer weather here in Texas, it's time for a new one. What you're looking at is our brand new 2023 Chevy Bolt 2LT, and it is currently one of the best values if you're looking for a commuter car. These things are starting at $26,500. Although the one that you see here is the 2LT version, which is fully loaded out and comes in at about $33,000. What makes it such great value? Well, A, it's fully electric with 260 miles of range, so it doesn't need any gas, and you probably have noticed that the gas prices are on the rise again, so no gas needed. And B, as of January the 1st, Chevy, with all its EVs, including this one, are now qualifying again for the full $7,500 tax credit as well. So if you take that, and if you are having a tax liability and you can use that, that makes this car an absolute steal. Compared to the Mini Coopers that we had, this one is much nicer, obviously, with more than twice the range, a lot more room, and a lot more usable as well. As looks are in the eye of the beholder, I personally think Chevy did a very decent job looks-wise for what it is. But let's take a look at the inner values, and starting at the front. Unfortunately, unlike Tesla or the Mustang Mach-E or even Hyundai, Tesla was not, Chevy was not be able to incorporate a frunk. As you can see, the engine bay is completely filled with all the electric goodies here, the cooling system, the control units and whatnot. So no frunk at all, unfortunately. But the front is rubber short anyway, so really not that big of a deal, at least for me. Coming around, let's start at the back and take a look what we got here. The trunk is actually, for the size of the car, very reasonable. It is pretty large, and this is right now, it has a what I would call a floating load floor. So this is at the highest setting for more convenient loading, but you can also have a second floor underneath. Currently you see here the charging unit that comes with the car, and also as a first for Chevy, it is a dual charging unit. So you can either charge it with 110 volt, or if you have the outlets for it, you can also charge with 240 volt. This whole floor here comes out, and now you adding quite a bit of depth to the trunk, which enables you to put quite a bit of stuff in here. Ask me how I know. Looking at the back, it is actually quite generous, once again, for such a small car. The seats are currently in my actual driving position. I am 5'10", and as you can see, there is plenty of room in the back here. Obviously, this one has all leather seats. You got niceties like USB and USB-C ports in the back, as well as a armrest in the middle with 2 cup holders. Once again, it's a very pleasant space actually back here. I have ridden in the back many times and it is quite comfortable. Let's take a look up front, as that is where it really matters. As you can see here, the new screen of the infotainment system is quite a bit bigger than in the previous generation. They changed up the layout of the middle console, where instead of the actual shifter, now you just have buttons. And underneath, you actually have pretty good storage space as well. First of all, the sound system in this one is done by Bose, very nice, and it also, in my opinion at least, sounds fairly decent. In the center, you got your center screen, which is, as mentioned previously, much larger now than in the previous version and is super easy to navigate. You can use it as touchscreen as well as navigate with the physical buttons. Underneath, you have also still physical buttons, thank you Chevy, for your heated seats, heated steering wheel, automatic climate control, windshield controls, and AC controls. You have underneath just like in the back, a USB-C, USB cigarette lighter plug, and then coming up front here you got sport mode, traction control, and your lane keep assist controls. Coming down, you got now instead of a shift lever, you got physical buttons with the normal P, R, N, and D, as well as this one is your button for your one pedal driving, and the parking brake next to it, along with a little hole here where the remote nicely fits into it. Obviously cup holders and a pretty good size storage underneath as well. One little gripe, the armrest does not extend, so what you see is what you get. Coming around, let's take a look at the instrument cluster. On the left side you got your range. On the right side, that is your power meter, showing you while driving how much energy you're using, either accelerating or how much energy you are generating back into the battery. There is also, at this point right now, I'm showing the tire pressure. To the left of the speedometer, you have the symbol for the lane keep assist. And if I scroll on the wheel and the steering wheel here, you see there's also a timer option, a lane keep assist option. Then if you prefer absolutely nothing, there is the blank option, the distance and average miles per kilowatt hour, as well as your average speed and back to tire pressure. On the door itself, you have automatic down for the driver's side, manual up and down for your upper windows, as well as chat locks and controls for locking the car and adjusting the mirrors. Pretty good space again for the side pockets here that easily fits a large bottle. Coming over here, physical controls for the adjustment of the brightness of the instrument cluster, as well as your light controls. Down here, electric controls for up, down, forth and back, and there's also built-in lumbar support. As far as the steering wheel controls come, you actually got behind the steering wheel here controls up and down to control your multimedia stuff, as well as this pedal. That is actually a manual pedal for your regen. Pretty nice. On the right side you got also two buttons behind the steering wheel here. They are controlling your volume. The steering wheel controls itself, you can see here, this is your cruise control as well as your settings for the adaptive cruise control. And on the right side, that is basically where you control the display with the scrolly wheel going up and down, left and right to select your options, and as well as controlling incoming phone calls. So, what is it like to drive this thing? Well, 3 words. Very, very quiet. Coming obviously from my Mazda Miata with the aftermarket exhaust, it is night and day, and it makes you really realize how quiet this car is. But as I said, it is very quiet, very pleasant. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate real quick the lane keep assist. If I'm drifting to the left side here, you will see how the car nudges back towards the middle, but again, it is not like a Tesla. It will just bounce forth and back between both sides and try to keep in the lane. You can see if you look at the instrument cluster, I am in sport mode. So let's come to a full stop here and give it the beans and see how it does. And by the way, this is one pedal driving, so it will come to a complete stop all by its own, which is pretty cool. No brakes needed. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. And that is it. That is 0 to 92. That is all it can do. It is limited to it, but for a little commuter car, that is really all it needs. And as you could see, it will accelerate rather rapidly up to the 92 miles an hour without any fuss. One thing I'd like to show you also is the 3D camera, which is very nice, especially for a car in this price class. It is hard to find. It will basically give you a bird's eye view of what's going on, making parallel parking and backing in into tight spaces super easy. Once again, this is one pedal driving, and you just basically feather the throttle and you come to a stop without the braking, without touching the brakes at all. Are obviously not the best here, so excuse the shaky video, but that is country living, especially after the winter time, where the roads have quite a few of little creeks and crackles and potholes. But anyway, so again, you can't really do hands-free driving. I got my hands off the wheels right now on cruise control and just gonna let it drift a little bit, and you will see how it's basically saying, hey, help me out here. So not nearly as good as Tesla. Again, the system is not intended as hands-free driving. It is just basically, if you don't pay attention or fall asleep, it will try to nudge you back into the lane. But then again, for this price point and all the other amenities you get with this car, overall still an incredible value. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little quick and dirty introduction of our new to us 2023 Chevy Bolt. Until next time, keep it on 2 or on 4 in this case. Bye.